Chapter 1924 Dragon Clan. Okay, Shinshin, tell me. I'm listening to what we should do. Yang Shinshin said, the so-called direction we are in now is the position of the Du Gate. If you want to break this formation, you must enter from the Sheng Gate and then Kai the Gate out. If you move recklessly, you will be completely lost in the array. No matter what, you can't leave. Brother, this bronze pillar formation is actually not that big. It's just that you keep going around in circles that you think it's endless. After hearing this, Zhang Yi suddenly understood. I remember. When I first watched Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Zhuge Kongming's 8 diagrams formation was like this, right? Brother, you are so smart. Zhang Yi was a little embarrassed. This compliment was too stiff. However, he still followed Yang Shinshin's instructions and quickly changed his direction. Although the bronze column array in front of us looks ever-changing, chaotic, and complicated, only when we look closely can we realize that they are moving according to certain rules. Only if Zhang Yi comes here can the danger be averted. If other people come, they will either be trapped by the formation, or even if they know how to escape, they will have to forcibly open a way out of the bronze pillar forest. The difficulty of this can be imagined. Zhang Yi brought his military advisor with him and had the ability to travel through space to cross distances, so he didn't have to face off against the bronze column formation head-on, which saved him a lot of trouble. Under the guidance of Yang Shinshin, Zhang Yi moved quickly and soon arrived at the location of the Life Gate. Sure enough, there was a huge space in this area, like the portal of an array. The next step is to go through the Life Gate and enter the Scenery Gate. This will be a little dangerous, brother, don't worry, just leave. Zhang Yi nodded and followed Yang Shinshin's instructions to choose the direction to pass. The bronze pillar array on the road was changing more and more rapidly, but Yang Shinshin said that we need to see the essence through the phenomenon. Those are just misleading illusions. The real path lies ahead. He fired with the spear of Longinus in his hand, smashing down many bronze pillars along the way, and soon reached the destination of Jingmen. In the shadow space, Yang Shinshin's eyes flickered with a dim light. When you look closely, you will find that her eyes are empty, because her brain is calculating frantically. After being developed, the brain is more convenient than many supercomputers in real-time computing. The Chimen-Duanjia formation is a classic formation handed down from the ancient times of the Huashu Kingdom. It looks simple, but in fact, it is ever-changing, and the layout can become extremely complex. The most famous among them are the 8 Gates Golden Lock formation, which is famous for its battle formation, and the 8 diagrams formation used by Zhuge Kongming to trap the Eastern Wu army. Those are just simplified variants of later generations, but they are already extremely powerful, not to mention the ancient versions. Therefore, even if you understand the principle of breaking the formation, you still have to constantly consider how to change the formation due to changes in the situation. Yang Shinshin slowly saw through all of this. She was impressed by the mystery of this formation, and at the same time she thought to herself, after I saw through this formation, I found that it is actually not complicated. The person who set up this formation left a glimmer of hope, but he didn't expect that after endless years, not many people would be able to comprehend the mystery of the strange formation. Following Yang Shinshin's instructions, Zhang Yi entered from the Xingmen, passed through the Jingmen, and finally went out through the Kaimen. He actually left this forest of bronze pillars. When they looked back, they found that the bronze column array was not very large. However, for some reason, they had not found a way out. Zhang Yi stood in the swamp, looking at the bronze pillars, feeling a little dazed. Does it feel very mysterious, brother? Seeing Zhang Yi's appearance, Yang Shinshin couldn't help but smile and asked him. Zhang Yi nodded. Indeed, it's amazing. This is my first time to come across something like this. Yeah, I think it's amazing too. Yang Shinshin sighed. But this also proves one thing.
What?
The contents recorded in the classic of mountains and seas are indeed about the entire world. And the cultural ancestors of our Huashu country have already traveled all over the world long ago. Even the demon king Mammon was sealed by the founder of Huashu country's humanities. The amount of information was so huge that Zhang Yi and everyone in the shadow space were dumbfounded. As for the origin of human beings, They only knew from Zhang Yi that they came from humans in the previous era. The angels among them helped this generation of humans grow up, and then gradually disappeared from the sight of this generation of humans. In other words, all humans of this generation have a common ancestor? Zhang Yi muttered to himself. Yang Xinxin said, "At least we can be sure that it was humans from the same era who created our generation." Zhang Yi was still a little confused. Then why are there such huge cultural gaps between our parts of the world? That's easy to explain. Yang Xinxin smiled and said, "If one day our generation as angels nurtures the seventh generation of humans, then the humans nurtured by Western Europeans and the humans nurtured by our Huashu country will also inherit different cultures." Now, at least one thing can be proved. The one who sealed the Demon King Mammon was a figure in the mythology of Huashu country. And the Demon King Mammon must have been recorded in the classic of mountains and seas. It is very likely that it is the Zhulong who controls day and night as well as spring, summer, autumn, and winter in the legend. The surroundings were still dark and silent. Zhang Yi knew that he couldn't just leave like this. He said to Yang Xinxin, "We have to go back now and take them out of the bronze column formation." After Yang Xinxin did some calculations, she nodded. "Okay. The position of the Chimen Duanjia formation changes every moment, but I have mastered the changes here. Brother, we need to change the position before entering. This formation may seem extremely dangerous, but it is actually not that deadly. As long as you master the magic of Chimen Duanjia, you will be able to escape. Perhaps this is a backdoor left for us by our ancestors." So Zhang Yi followed Yang Xinxin's instructions, found a new entrance, and killed his way into the bronze pillar formation. The Qinling Mountains are covered with snow all year round, like a huge sleeping dragon lying on the northern and southern boundaries of the Huashu Kingdom. The mountains are steep and rugged, stretching for thousands of miles. And at an unknown depth below the Dragon Vein, there is another world. Here we have sky and white clouds, jungle and fertile land, as well as very advanced technological products. Huge pyramids stand in various areas, all purple and glowing with electric light. This is a special kind of pyramid with a square platform on top. It is more like an altar than a pyramid. In ancient times of Huaxi state, whenever the monarch wanted to pray to the gods, he would set up a high platform for the witches to pray and ask for guidance from the gods. This is a vast and empty world where primitive and futuristic scenes coexist, full of vitality and with completely different atmospheres. Under an abyss in this world, a pair of huge eyes suddenly opened. The scene in his eyes seemed to have traveled through time, carrying with it infinite wisdom and vicissitudes. "They are in trouble. Archaic." An ancient voice echoed from the abyss. The gaze of this ancient being seemed to penetrate the sky and the earth above and look into the distant beyond. But after thinking for a while, he murmured in a low voice, "This is also a destined future. Even I can't change it." He slowly closed his eyes again. Far away, on a high mountain, Bai Longzi in a white robe stood on the top of the mountain, feeling the breath of the earth with his bare feet. The energy of the earth surged into his body from the soles of his feet. His feet were firmly planted on the ground, allowing him to feel the heaviness of the earth. The earth's position is koan, and a gentleman carries the world with virtue. He wandered in the world between heaven and earth, completely forgetting himself. Suddenly, a voice sounded in his mind. "Yuan Mo, come see me." Yuan Ma is Bai Longzi's real name. Yuan Mo's eyes moved slightly, and he disappeared from the spot in an instant, and soon appeared in the huge abyss. There is a hidden dragon in the abyss, and where there is a dragon it is magical. Yuan Mo came into the abyss and faced forward. A sound like thunder came from the abyss. There is movement at the end of the chapter. Someone is trying to enter, fearing that he might disturb the candle dragon and cause it to break out. Yuan Mo frowned immediately when he heard this. Has it come to this? But according to the deduction, the day of catastrophe has not yet come. "Ancestor, has your hexagram come true?" The voice said, "The sky is vast, and the human world is vast. The current situation is indescribable, and the future is hard to predict. Who can predict everything? You can't leave the world for the time being, so find a trustworthy junior to go ahead and observe. To avoid any trouble. Yuan Mo nodded. Yes. Also, let's ask the little girl who has been in contact with our tribe for a while to come here with Yuan Jing. When Yuan Mo heard this, a hint of impatience flashed in his eyes, but he did not dare to show disrespect. I just asked in confusion. This generation of humans is extremely weak. The day of destruction is approaching, but their power is still weak and inaudible. Do we really want to get close to them? The sound came slowly, like the sound of a huge bell. I saw a glimpse of an unusual future. In the endless darkness and confusion, someone opened up a completely different path in the chaos. After all, these are the humans that grew up under the protection of our race during the Age of Angels, and they are closely connected to our race. The day of catastrophe is approaching. This will be the greatest catastrophe in history. Our race may not be able to protect itself from it. We must join forces with others. After hearing what Ancestor Bay said, Yuan Mo could only nod in agreement. The ancestor Chiwei does have the ability to see into the future, and his words are absolute authority among the Dragon Clan. Shengjing City, Temple of the Earth. Ho-Tu sat upright on the Dharma platform with her eyes closed in meditation. There are 2 ways for aliens to improve their abilities. First, look within yourself and tap into your potential. After Zhang Yi learned Xinshua, he also used this method to improve his strength. The second way is to ask for external help, improve oneself through sacrificial spirits, or hunting other powerful beings. Ho-Tu's way of improving her strength is to take both into account. She is a natural-born superpower, possessing telekinesis powers beyond that of ordinary people, and is born with a strong spirituality. Suddenly, a voice rang in her ears. It came from the familiar black dragon, Yuan Jing. Woman, you are out of luck. The ancestor of my clan wants to see you. There was unstoppable excitement in Yuan Jing's voice. When Ho-Tu heard these words, she felt an irrepressible joy in her heart. She is the person who knows best in the world how powerful the Qinling Dragon Clan is. She knew that if the people of Huashu could obtain the protection of the Dragon Clan, they would have hope of preserving as many fire species as possible in the future catastrophe. So in the past few days, to put it bluntly, they have been trying to please others even though they are not well received. It's just that the Dragon Clan is always cold towards humans and is unwilling to have intercourse with them. If it weren't for Yuan Jing's existence, we would have probably lost contact with each other long ago. But now, when she suddenly heard that the ancestor of the Dragon Clan wanted to see her, how could Ho-Tu not be happy? She didn't even know who the so-called ancestor was, but from Yuan Jing's tone she knew that he must be a being of very high status in the Dragon Clan. She immediately stood up from the platform. Call. A gust of wind suddenly blew open the door of the Earth Temple. Bang, bang, bang. Several doors were blown open one after another. The guards outside the palace were terrified, but they could do nothing in the face of such a force. A black whirlwind blew in from the sky and poured into the hall. I really don't know what luck you have to be summoned by the ancestor. Ha 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 ha. My Yuan Jing can finally go. Ha ha ha. 700 steps. A full 700 steps have passed. Ho-Tu did not offer any resistance, but signaled the guards of the Earth Temple not to get excited, and then allowed Yuan Jing to lead her away. After an unknown amount of time, they entered the underground world. Yuan Jing is a black dragon. When you see him, you will probably understand that the dragon in the ancient mythology of Huashu Kingdom is real. It's just that there are some deviations from the dragon-shaped figurines developed in later generations, which are all figurines that have undergone artistic processing. Yuan Jing looks more like a large black lizard with 2 long horn-like protrusions on its head. Without wings, yet able to fly. Although not as beautiful as in the picture album, it is equally majestic and looks even more oppressive. Arriving in this familiar world, Yuan Jing's eyes were filled with emotion. Ho-Tu was standing on his head, and she was also very excited when she saw the scene in front of her. This is where the ancient civilization hid. After countless years, it still maintains such beautiful scenery and a highly developed civilization. A deep and quiet voice came out from the corner of his mouth, accompanied by thick hot air. It's been 700 years, but nothing seems to have changed here. 700 years ago, because he was curious about the outside world, he did not follow the rules of the Dragon Clan and went to outer space. In the end, because he did not belong to that era, he was almost wiped out by thunder due to the rules of the world, that is, the will of Kagago. Fortunately, he met a man named Lu Ji, who built a refuge for him and sealed him for 700 feet under the Dragon Locking Well in Shengjing City. If it weren't for the great changes in the world today, which reduced the restrictions on him a lot, he would not be able to return to his tribe. Yuan Jing was reminiscing when suddenly her eyes fixed and revealed a hint of joy. Roar. A huge roar came from under the earth, and a white light shot up into the sky. It was actually a white dragon very similar to him in shape. A white dragon flew over, and Yuan Jing responded with a roar. Two dragons, one black and one white, circled and danced in the sky. This was a special way of greeting. Ho Tu recognized him. Bai Longzi's aura and appearance were familiar to all the high-ranking officials of Huashu Kingdom. If he had not helped at the beginning, the Huashu Kingdom might have fallen apart today. Soon, under the guidance of the White Dragon, they arrived at the huge abyss. The Black Dragon and the White Dragon transformed into human form, and Ho Tu followed behind them like an obedient little follower. She knew that she was able to come here because of some special opportunity. Even if he is one of the best masters in Huashu Kingdom, he is as small as dust among the Dragon Clan. The Black Dragon arrived at the abyss, knelt down and kowtowed respectfully. Ancestor, Yuan Jing is here. But the ancient voice said, "Well, you go stay aside." Yuan Jing was stunned for a moment. She thought that after returning from the shrine, the scene where she was cared for or pretended to be scolded but actually loved did not happen. He was a little depressed, but he glanced at Ho Tu and stood aside obediently. Yuan Mo gave Ho Tu a cold look and said, "Go forward. The ancestor has something to tell you." "Yes." Ho Tu walked forward obediently, then bowed her head and greeted. "Human Guan Long Yue, greetings to the ancestor." At this moment, she didn't dare to call herself the heir to the land. "Ever since I understood that the ancient gods were real beings with special powers, I have to be careful when dealing with the aliens from ancient civilizations, for fear of breaking taboos." "Oh, you call me ancestor?" The ancient voice spoke slowly. Ho Tu nodded and said, "The people of Huashu are descended from the Dragon Clan. For a long time, we have always regarded ourselves as descendants of the dragon. It is proper to call the Dragon Clan our ancestors. This is to warn our descendants not to forget the kindness of the Dragon Clan in raising us." The old voice ignored Ho Tu's flattery. Over the long years, his understanding of this world had reached another level. This world is about to change. No living thing on this planet will be immune to this catastrophe. Now, I will teach you the technique to seal the Druk Protoss. This is also the ability to spy on the laws of the universe. Once you learn it, you can pass it on to the smartest among your tribe. It might be useful someday when we really face a crisis. As soon as the voice fell, the space in front of Ho Tu lit up. The white light covered a large area. The black light and the white light complemented each other, gradually forming a huge black and white, complex and mysterious disk. Ho Tu's eyes gradually widened, hoping to remember everything in front of her firmly in her mind. Then she took a step and walked into the area. Bai Longzi Yuanma and Hei Longzi Yuanjing watched this silently, then Yuanma turned and left. "I'll leave this place to you. Send this human out when the time comes." Yuanjing turned her head and looked at him. "Where are you going?" Yuan Mo said calmly, "I have other things to do." After saying that, the space around Yuan Mo twisted, and he disappeared from the spot. Yuan Jing stopped caring about it upon seeing this, but stood where he was, quietly waiting for the ancestor to pass on his message. After an unknown amount of time, Ho Tu memorized these profound skills in her mind. This is not difficult. Although her brain is not particularly smart, With the help of smart devices, it will be no problem to record everything and study it slowly later. Did you write it all down? The old voice asked. Yes, I have written them all down, Ho-Tu said respectfully. What her ancestors taught her were extremely profound. Even for someone like her who knew nothing about metaphysics, her heart was filled with emotion after reading them, and she felt she benefited a lot. But there is still one thing I don't understand. I hope you can enlighten me, ancestor. Ho-Tu plucked up the courage to say. Oh, why? The human race is weak. When faced with the invasion of various underground civilizations, even the most powerful of us humans are unable to resist. This is difficult enough, let alone facing even greater disasters in the future. This has caused us humans a lot of trouble for a long time, and we have been working hard every day just to survive. But our ancestors taught us skills. If our tribe has trouble even surviving, how can we pass on the skills? The old voice was silent for a long time. Ho-Tu stood quietly, not daring to speak again. She was extremely nervous. Even though she had confirmed that the Qinling Dragon clan was the previous generation civilization of the Huaxu people's ancestors, she could not confirm whether the other party had any feelings for the Huaxu people. Therefore, every request must be made with caution. After an unknown amount of time, the old voice suddenly said, "There is one thing that you, the people of this generation, are blessed with. No other ethnic group can compare to you. Think carefully about the true nature of the aliens. As long as you can figure this out, you will become stronger at a terrifying speed. If you can't figure it out, you will disappear into the dust of history." Ho-Tu frowned and thought, but no matter how hard she thought, she couldn't figure out what advantages humans had over the previous 5 generations of civilization. Whether in terms of technology, wisdom, or strength, they seem to be difficult to compare with the vast majority of underground civilizations. One Wulwan empire is capable of destroying most of human civilization, not to mention other civilizations that are more powerful than this. However, the old voice did not continue to explain this question. He seemed unwilling to talk about this topic too much, and his tone was cautious. Well, you have learned what I taught you. As for how much power you can exert with it, it depends on you. The old voice gradually faded away. Yuan Jing came over and said coldly to Ho-Tu, "You should leave." After he said that, he didn't give Ho-Tu a chance to speak. He transformed himself into a huge black dragon, then threw Ho-Tu on his back and soared into the sky with a flick of his tail. Dear viewers, thanks for staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.